please welcome Alejandro Saab, a.k.a. Kagi Films, to our stage. Listen,
brought my own water.
You stream. You know that you can never have enough hydration.
Yeah. And I'm supposed to drink 100 fluid ounces a day anyway, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
we'll knock it all out.
Can I just say thank you? People showed up. I was expecting no one, so thank you.
I think they heartily disagree because they are very excited to see you. But seriously, it is an absolute pleasure to be able to speak to you today as someone who has basically built their career as a content creator originally on the YouTube platform, as someone who I have seen certainly from my periphery, just on the rise, building not just an amazing content creation platform, but also becoming a very tenured voice actor in the worlds of video gaming and anime. I've been very excited to have this conversation. So looking forward to a great chat.
Yeah.
Also, I really love your shirt, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a great conversation starter. This panel could literally be about this shirt. So I'm a big fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And if you can't see, it's, you got Leo, Mikey, Donnie, Raph, and they're all chasing Pac-Man as a pizza. My partner Hayden got me this shirt. It was a great birthday gift, and let me tell you, I love it. Also, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is my favorite one, so that's my answer.
There you go.
We can debate about it. I swear.
I can already see some bonus content for this panel. It's like let's talk turtles.
So what? Anyway.
But let's actually, speaking of clearly formative elements of our lives, or in this case careers, I mentioned as I was bringing you on, you began on the YouTube platform as a fellow content creator who has also been working on the platform for way longer than I care to admit. I wanted to talk to you about your early YouTube days. What was it that attracted you to the platform? What was it that motivated you to create the kind of content that you did in those early days?
I mean, when I first started, I was just a guy wanting to make content with my friends. Just like I would be making like short films or whatever, and then eventually I learned about Halo machinima, because that's what I started with. For context, because machinimas don't exist anymore except for Red versus Blue. Machinimas is basically taking a video game and making a movie using the video game. People do it with like Minecraft and like other things, but that was the form, and that's how I started. Me and my friend would just make machinima, and it was like some were good, some were bad, most were bad, and then that's when I kind of dabbled into voiceover, because my friend was like, "Hey, you want to voice a cop?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm 14, and you want me to voice I'm like, "You want me to be a gritty cop?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "So San Arachne." No, hold on. And I used a pitch filter for like a year, and then eventually my voice got lower than the pitch filter. So then I was like, maybe I'll give this a try. And then I started taking theater classes and writing in theater and some improv classes, and then I was like, I kind of like this, and I pursued it. I listened to I got really lucky in high school. I had a complete period that was free. I had like 2.5 hours of nothing, and it was my first period, and it was because where I grew up, I don't know if other schools do this, but there's an elective called Teacher's Aid, where you can just help out a teacher. And I got really lucky. My teacher had nothing. She didn't have a class. And I was like, how did I get assigned to you? It's like, hey, they messed up. I'm not going to tell. Are you going to tell? And I'm like, no. And it's like, great. Enjoy your free period. I grade papers, and sometimes I don't even show up. And I was like, oh, well, great. So I just showed up to class, and I would sleep, or eventually I took that time to listen to Voice Acting Mastery by Crispin Freeman.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
Crispin Freeman, in case you're not aware, a prolific voice actor, especially in the world of anime. God, where to even begin?
Winston, Alucard
in Hellsing, Kion Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Shizuo in Durarara. God, I I could go on.
But he had a podcast, and I listened to that, and that's kind of what like piqued my interest more, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you really took that extra free time to really expand your toolkit. Certainly the temptation would be there, especially as a teenager, to just mess around and just sleep or get online and just like look at all your content.
I mean, it was a little everything. There were times that I would just sleep. I mean, I had to wake up at like 6 a.m. to go to the high school. And then because of the bus, and then by the time you get to your class, it's like 8 a.m. or something. And you're like, bro, my first actual period is at 10:30. I'm going to sleep. So.
Yeah, no, you gotta do a body good, get that nap time in. But it is still very admirable that you did take this time to better yourself and expand your toolkit, sharpen your knowledge along the way. And it's interesting because what I noticed in how you were just describing this early expansion into what would help you expand your range as a voice actor, it sounded like a lot of this was kind of inspired by the YouTube work and not the other way around, where in a lot of cases with creatives, it's like, I was doing theater, or I was studying film, and I just kind of fell into this because, hey, you can put up a video. What are they going to do about it besides copyright protections
copyright,
and DMCA's everywhere? You know the drill.
Thanks, Twitch. Thanks, YouTube. But yeah, I mean, for me, I started with content creating, which is really funny because now a bunch of my voiceover friends are wanting to get into content creating, and I'm like, I'm just doing my own thing now. Like, I'll do voiceover, I'll do VTubing, I'll do whatever. But it was really weird. And there was also like this weird stigma when I got in where it's like, oh, you make content? Okay, I'm a content creator. And I was like, oh, how the tables have turned.
One of you YouTubers.
Yeah. But I welcome anybody. But the thing is that it's a lot harder than it is. Like, people underestimate the amount of stuff you have to do because it's like, oh, just upload a video. And I was like, sure, but did you tag it? Did you do the hashtags? Did you do the short? Did you do the TikTok? Did you do the Instagram reel? Did you X, Y, and Z? But yeah, like for me, one of the things that inspired me when it came to voiceover was I watched this anime called Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple.
Wow, I haven't heard that one in a minute.
And Jesse James Greeley was the voice of Kenichi, and she at the very end of the show just does impersonation of her masters, which is really cool. And I was like, bro, I want to do something like that. I was infatuated with Jesse's voice, and I was
she has incredible range and has always been one of the people who I've loved to watch just grow as an actor. She's turned in some phenomenal performances.
Also, can I just say, I've told this story, and I'm sure someone's filming it. I haven't told Jesse any of this, by the way. So it's really funny because and I'm friends with them. I know where they live. I've pet their dog. They're great. I love them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I've never told them this story. So no one tell them.
If I wasn't using this to read my notes, or maybe that's the best time to do this because it looks like I'm reading my notes. No, I'm kidding. But now that's an amazing shout and a very specific actor to be mentioning because her body of work is great. Again, incredible range that she's able to put out. So very, very cool that she was kind of your inspiration to really look into voice acting, and especially the fact that it was anime. It could have been any myriad of formats of platforms, but it was specifically anime. I mean, obviously the fact that you are in the gaming sphere, I'm sure like there were probably plenty of games that you were playing at the time that
there are so many things that have inspired me over the years. My favorite game of all time that inspired my humor is a game called Psychonauts.
Ooh, any Psychonauts fans here? Psychonauts fans?
If you're
all right,
thank you.
Y'all
thank
the OGs. You
it's
understand.
An old game. If you haven't played it, I totally get it. But it's literally starring Richard Horvitz, and it's so funny whenever I play this game on stream. People are like, "Oh, is that Moxie from Hell of a Boss?" And I'm like, Yes, but this is the thing, not Invader Zim, not, Angry Beavers, it's this, or Alpha 5 from Power Rangers. Sure.
I mean, welcome to 2023.
I know. He's great as Moxie. I love him as Moxie, but for me, he'll always be Rasputin. And it's so funny because he actually is one of my voiceover teachers.
No way.
Yeah. So, and
have you told him these stories yet? Or?
Yes, I have told. It was so funny because when we were doing a class, he was like, "Here are the sides that we're working with today," and I look at him, I'm like, "Richard, is this Psychonauts 2?" And he goes,
"Oh my god!"
And it's like, "You're not supposed to know." And he's like, "Wait, how do you know Psychonauts?" And I was like, "Oh, it's my favorite game." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I play it every year." He's like, "Every year?" And I was like, "Yeah, I beat it every year." And he's like, "You beat the Meat Circus?" And I'm like, "Yeah, every year." And he's like, "Oh, I love this game so much. You don't understand. I love this game so much. I told my partner, I will not propose to you until you beat this game."
Wow.
And here's, in my defense, I gave them this game, paid for it, when we first met. We weren't dating. We weren't dating for another 6 years after that. So they had a decade to beat it, and they didn't beat it. And then during COVID, I had to get a document notarized for me to go to Canada because they're Canadian. And during the pandemic, Canada had its borders closed. So I had to get the document notarized to even go there by the government. And when I went there, I had to quarantine for 14 days. And then I told them, if you don't beat this game, I'm not proposing. And they didn't believe me. And I had the ring ready. And they did beat it. And I proposed.
Aww.
And they were like, what would you have done if I didn't beat it? And I was like, I guess I'm taking the ring back. I guess I'll see you when you beat the game.
So I'm sure they have a generous refund policy.
I mean, I'm keeping the ring, but I'm not returning it.
Well, put some more games for more streaming content, and then, when you get the residuals from that and other work,
that's a lot of games. That was an expensive ring. That's a lot of games.
But in all seriousness, that's kind of amazing. Legit, Psychonauts, absolutely phenomenal game. The sequel, over on my content creation branch, we do annual top 10s for the year for both anime and gaming. That year, Psychonauts 2, unequivocal winner. And I have so many friends who are just absolutely in love with the Psychonauts franchise. So I understand this love for this series very palpably, and it's so cool that one of your voiceover mentors was a part of that experience. So that's amazing. So I'm going to be jumping around a little bit because we've been talking a lot about the streaming side of things, and especially gaming. You expanded onto the Twitch platform. Before we go into the next level of the expansion into the Twitch platform, I just wanted to take a moment just at a very cursory surface level. Twitch versus YouTube, what are your favorite things, least favorite things about each platform?
Man, Twitch sucks. YouTube isn't any better, but it's a little better. Look, man, I really want Twitch to be a good platform, but this 50-50 deal, them wanting more money from people who do sponsorships, it's rough. YouTube is a little better. You do start off with 70-30, which is a great split, which is what Twitch should do. But the problem with YouTube is their UI for streaming is just terrible. They're great on everything else.
Preaching to the choir, my friend. God, I hate streaming live on YouTube.
They are great on everything else, but one thing I did learn, because I did my first YouTube stream as my VTuber for the first time the other week, the folks from Twitch will go to YouTube, but not the other way around. Because when I was streaming Honkai, because I'm in that, by the way.
We got some fans here. I see some people reacting. Let's make some noise. Come on, Honkai fans. Honkai Impact, yeah.
If you're a fan of Jing Yuan, that's me. I know, I sound nothing like him right now. I know. My favorite thing is when people are like, when they hear me, they're like, oh, you kind of sound like Ito. And I'm like, I promise you, I'm not Max Middleman. I wish I was Max Middleman. He's immensely talented. Do you guys know that guy can beatbox? Insane.
Sidebar, that is officially the second mention of Max over the course of the last three panels.
He's so talented. I can't help it. Anyway, Yeah, I voice Jingyuan, and I voice Sino and Jingyuan, and that's the complete opposite part of my range. But to go to the YouTube thing, I was streaming on Twitch, and I had like 1,400 people, and on YouTube it had 1,500. And I was like, oh, well, people will come. Okay. So now I'm probably going to do a weekly stream because I don't know when Twitch will implode the next time. Because it seems like they're imploding every other week.
Yeah, they've had an interesting history. I mean, speaking personally, just to kind of embellish on this, you saw my very visceral reaction to live streaming on YouTube, because I love in terms of the UI and the core functionality for just posting videos. There's a reason why it's the old reliable. It is fantastic. It is great to work with if you are doing pre-recorded content. Yeah. The cumbersome amount of steps that are required just to go live compared to even though if we're ignoring just the back end setup that you have to do to basically hit record over on the Twitch machine, it is like day and night. So I personally prefer live on Twitch. Again, if we're taking away all the baggage that comes with it.
But one thing I found interesting is the people watching prefer YouTube. I don't know why, which is crazy to me because I've watched people stream on YouTube and I'm like, man, this chat box kind of sucks. But fans just prefer it because I guess everything is on there. Their shorts, their videos, and
that's the other thing that will always make me champion the YouTube platform. It's the ubiquity of the platform. Like you can literally access that on almost anything, regardless of restrictions. Twitch has managed to get on multiple platforms, but it is still not as simple, intuitive, and universal as the YouTube platform. So I could see that as probably being one of the incentives there. So let's jump down this rabbit hole because you mentioned VTubing. I myself jumped
I do
down.
that. I go by Sayu VTuber. I know that half of you don't know who that is, but the other half that do, great.
I see people who do.
Never mind.
I mean, I myself have been jumping down that rabbit hole over the past 2 going on 3 years. I had the fortune to work briefly as a PR specialist for the good folks over at VShojo.
Oh, that's
Got to do that last summer. That was pretty dope. So it's been fascinating to learn about the space, not just from collaborating internally with some of these agencies, but also just watching it as a phenomenon, especially during peak quarantine hell times, where VTubing really exploded to how it is still something that is clearly not going anywhere, even though we are now back in these spaces together, going back out into the world more. So how did you go down the VTuber rabbit hole, and what do you prefer more, whether it is doing your VTuber content or doing other content?
VTubing is my favorite, and going back to VShojo, blame Iron Mouse, because I was no, it's not like I was inspired by Iron Mouse. She hit me up being like, you should be a VTuber. And,
oh wow.
Because I jokingly tweeted, I was like, I'm thinking about doing a joking VTuber thing, because I was originally thinking it's like, oh, what if I make like a Muppet version of myself and just do content like that? I think it'd be really stupid and funny. But then I found out that not everybody can animate the way I wanted to. So like
rigging is kind of hard.
But then I was talking to Mouse, and she was like, hey, you should actually consider it. It's a lot of fun. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. And I was like, all right. And I was like, well, I have this cover channel where I do music. It's called Weeby, and it's on Spotify, iTunes, and everything else. The shameless plug.
I mean, to be fair, you're a guest. You're allowed. Go for it.
And I was like, worst case scenario, I have a mascot for the band, right? And best case scenario, I have a VTuber that I like. And it turns out that in the 10 years I was doing YouTube as Keggy Films, this VTuber has done astronomically better in 2 years. It's night and day. Because, like, to give an example, a sponsor, whenever someone would hit me up for a sponsorship on Keggy Films, it'd be like, he's like $200. And I'd be like, oh, okay, cute. With the VTuber, they're like, hey, pal, here's $4,000. And I was like, what? I was like, wow, I can actually make a living as a streamer. This is crazy. So, but honestly, like, sponsors aside, like, it's just so fun. And this is the weirdest thing. This is why I love it. I don't have to have the lights on. And if you've ever done face cam stuff, and a perfect example is these lights.
Yep.
These lights, having these lights in your face for hours is exhausting. So not needing that is a blessing. And it's great. I've said that in other interviews, and they're like, "What?
No.
What do you mean?"
It makes total sense because when you're basically baking under lights for multiple hours, for me the appeal of the VTuber is not having to get camera ready. If you just want to roll out of bed and just do a stream.
You see, here's the thing about me. When I did on camera, I didn't care. I would literally stream in pajamas. I'd be like, all right, guys, here we go. And here's the thing, I don't have appealing pajamas. I have like Ebenezer Scrooge pajamas. Like it was like, so Purple, the company Purple, this isn't even a plug, they had a pajama set and it was super nice. It felt like their sheets and I was like, yeah. And I had the extra large and I was like, hey, all I need is a hat and I'm Ebenezer Scrooge. But literally I'd start streaming, I'm like, all right, guys, today we're playing Persona. So I'd wrap myself up in blankets and be like, like that. That was me.
True gamer gremlin.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
You have achieved.
That was funny, guys.
You have achieved peak Umaru-chan.
Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. So it's also amazing that one of the most subscribed to not just VTubers but female streamers on the Twitch platform was the one who encouraged you to jump into this. That alone, I have to ask, in your years of content creation and watching yourself kind of move up these platforms, move up the chain, so to speak, going from your $200 sponsorships to being hit up for these multi-thousands and also big names encouraging you to do a thing. What has that been personally like? And were there any particular points in your career where you were like, wait, this is real life. This is no longer just the pipe dream. This is real life.
Every day of my life is like that. Literally being here is like that. Like sitting here, I'm like, this is weird. And here's the thing. In content creating and voiceover, I always feel like that because I've had fans. It's like, how does it feel? I remember watching you when you were doing Dragon Ball videos, when you were doing this, when you were doing that. And I'm like, yeah, it's weird because I used to volunteer. I used to be a volunteer for conventions. Hell, I used to be a volunteer for the owner of this convention. That's the crazy thing. So
it all comes full circle, my friend.
Yeah, when they used to own before GalaxyCon, they had Florida SuperCon, and then But I volunteered at Animate Miami. So, and I remember I was Brittany Karbowski's handler. So that's the thing. For me, it's weird because, and I always feel bad. It's like. They're like, hey, do you need any help, Mr. Saab? And I was like, nah, bro, I got it. And they're like, are you sure? And I was like, nah, I got it. Because I'm so used to it. I'm used to doing it myself.
No, I'm used to doing your job. It's cool, man.
Yeah, I got it. And they're like, you need me to hang that up for you? It's like, nah, just get me a chair and I got it. But it's weird to me because when it comes to content creating, I've been inspired by people, to like do bigger stuff. And when it comes to voiceover, I've been inspired not just by Jesse, but like by Matthew Mercer and like Troy Baker. And like, there are so many different actors like Monica Rial and like, the list can go on of being like, oh, that was a really cool performance. Oh, that was really sick. Oh, that was this. So it's just weird that they're now my peers because I was like, on the other side and stuff. And when people are like, oh, you really inspire me. I really want to do what you do. And I was like, yeah, you can do it. I'm here. I did it. You can do it. Why not? I was just a kid that wanted to do things. That was me.
Now that is a very wholesome takeaway that I think a lot of people, especially any aspiring content creators out here in the audience, can walk away with. And this leads me to something I wanted to bring up a little bit earlier when we were going a little bit more chronologically. We talked about this briefly before coming out here. There's a part of your story that I can relate to directly because in my early years, literally before YouTube was a thing, I had to make a very similar decision, and that was essentially to not finish college. I wanted to just go all in on content creation. For my story, it was because I was basically at a crossroads. The choice was basically have a mostly unfinished degree that I would have to basically grind away for and not even learn what I wanted to, because this was when digital film technology was still like fresh and new. I'm like,
sure.
Okay, you know, I could just not touch a digital camera for like 3 years and be super behind the curve, or I could just reinvest that and, you know, gamble on myself. And that was a big, scary decision. And even with all the hardships that have come from that, I'll be honest, I would always go back and make that decision because it was the right decision for me. Yeah. You also had to make a similar choice along the way. Talk about what it was that you thought about before making that decision, and how you felt when you finally accepted that you were pulling the trigger on it.
So for the longest time, since I want to say middle school, I thought I wanted to be an animator. I was studying cartoons. I was studying 2D animation, is specifically what I thought I'd work on, because I was a huge fan of Ed's World, which was this old YouTube show, which now, it was this British group, these funny guys just making videos on YouTube, and it was ridiculous. But I was like, yeah, I want to be an animator. That looks like fun. That looks cool. And I went to Savannah College of Art and Design. Great school. Fantastic. They have one
SCAD, baby!
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I've met a lot of folks who have graduated from there. They're so talented. Like, they are fantastic. A talent factory.
I was there for a year. I had done a year prior to get rid of my core classes, so I wasn't wasting $40,000 on, core math.
You do.
And after a year of doing it, I remember I turned in my final project, which I was spending all days and nights animating. I was animating from like 5 p.m., which was after my classes, to like 2 in the morning, just drawing on a piece of paper a sack of flour. And I was like, yeah. And my professor looked at it and he's like, oh, this is really good. That's a B. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That was the most miserable I've ever been in my entire life. Yeah, I'm out. And I didn't sign up for new classes, and I was just like, yeah. The worst part was when I told my parents.
Yep, that's.
Well, here's so growing up.
That's always the rough part.
So I'm Hispanic. I'm Hispanic and Lebanese in a Hispanic household.
I was about to say, what variety?
Ecuadorian. I'm from South America.
Puerto Rico and Colombia. Wow.
But
I know this feel.
I had the worst timing because I decided to do it while we were on vacation in California. What a smart boy I was. But I decided to drop out because I wasn't having fun. And for me, if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it. Like, I know it's such a simple mindset, and people are like, well, some people don't have that liberty. And I was like, that's true. You're 100% right. But I had that liberty. So I was like, well, I'm not doing it. I told my parents. My parents were pretty pissed. My dad made it seem like I knew it. And I was like, well, he said he knew it. And my mom's like, he didn't know shit. He didn't know anything. He just thought you were upset. And I was like, what? No.
It's like a little deeper than that, mama.
But yeah, and they were like, well, why do you want to drop out? Like, my mom and my dad had separate conversations with me, and I was like, well, honestly, I'm not having fun, and this acting thing is kind of cool. Also, I visited Texas at the time when Funimation was around, and I saw what it was like, and I saw them record behind the scenes, and I was like, it's that. That's the thing. That's the thing I want to do. And then like a few months later, I moved to Dallas in September, and then I got an audition in November, and my very first anime was Fairy Tail. I was the one guy in the show with a gun. Everyone else had magic, and I'm over here like, I'm Drake the Sniper. Gun. It wasn't even magic bullets, it's just bullet. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then I voiced a bunch of like dying people for months, and then I begged to audition for My Hero Academia. I was like, hey, Sally, you think I could audition for My Hero? And, at the time, I was like, I think I could do it. I think I got it. And I booked Namaset. And it was really funny because I love Colleen. And Colleen's the voice director. And she was like, hey, so we're bringing you on. So this guy's a hero, but he's not super.
Hi-yo.
like your voice is a hero voice, but not a superhero voice. And I was like, I don't care. I'm in My Hero Academia. Let's go.
Let's up and go. Yeah.
But and then it kind of went from there. Like more people heard me. Like then I got to work on like Nabaka, Kiss Him Not Me, and then my very first lead was Akiba's Trip, the animation.
Ah, yes. Akiba's Trip does not have any other innuendo whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
I will say I did play the PS4 game because
no relation, by the way, to the games.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like it sounded like it was just one of those cases of this is in name only.
Yeah.
But the main reason I went to play it was I had heard that they recreated a part of Akiba so detailed that they actually have the go-go curry that they have in Akiba. And my partner of the time, she was working as their graphic designer and illustrator for the U.S. branch. So it was like,
awesome.
hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of why I dropped out, because I wasn't happy. And it was so funny because last Thanksgiving I was talking with my mom, and my mom's like, I don't understand how like people. By the way, I love my mom, but growing up in South America, depression doesn't exist. Just a heads up. That's the context here. And my mom.
Hispanic parents, they give you the tough love. Any other Hispanic folks here? I'm just curious.
Just
y'all understand. Y'all understand.
And she's like, I don't understand how you can be depressed. Just don't be depressed. And I was like, I've been depressed. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah. And she's like, how depressed? When were you depressed? And I was like, in SCAD, I wanted to die. And she's like, what? It's like, what do you do? She like short-circuited. And I was like, yeah, it was bad. Why do you think I dropped out? You think it was just like, it's hard? No, I was miserable. And she was like, oh, okay, damn. So, but yeah, I love my mom, but it was one of those conversations that she didn't realize, because I'm like, why am I going to tell you? Like, we're over it. It's past now.
Yeah.
And we're cool about the whole dropping out of college thing. They're like, you make money? That's fine.
I was going to say, like, that's the good thing about this whole situation. You know, you had the best end possible, which is you were able to, successfully make the jump and really just lean into it and assuage any concerns that your family had. So, good on you for that. Like, round of applause. Like, I cannot convey like years of having to even justify the grind to a Hispanic mother. We love our family, like legit, we love our families. So we just got into a discussion about anime voiceover, how you kind of got into it, some of your early roles, some of your early triumphs. Having worked in that particular form of animation, and also other forms of voiceover like video gaming, I always love to talk to other actors to get their takes, because everyone feels so differently about the different types of work that they do. Because even though at the end of the day, yes, it's still talk into microphone, take your directions, do things, there are so many differences and nuances that you can either appreciate or just loathe. So what are your favorite things about the different types of voice acting you've been able to do, and what, if there is a favorite among them, what is it?
Oh man, it's tough, because there's not. Because even within cartoons and anime and everything, there are different types of voiceover. Like, apart from the genres, there is voice matching, which I've had to do a bit of because of, and this is in my mind because it literally, I got a reminder yesterday, because I can't believe it's been a year, but my friend Billy Kometz, he passed away last year.
Oh, that's right.
As of a year ago yesterday, which I'm like, it's been a year? That sucks. But I've had to voice match him multiple times, and for me, that's always bittersweet, because I was like, oh, cool, I get to honor my friend, but I shouldn't have to in this way. But
wonderful person, by the way. I was fortunate enough when we were doing the virtual GalaxyCon panels. I got to do Rising of the Shield Hero, and he was in that panel. So when I heard the news, I'm like, oh my god, like that hit hard. He was wonderful.
But there's like different stuff like that. Like voice matching can be fun depending on who you're voice matching. But then
quick interruption, pop quiz. What is a voice match you would love to do? If there is one that you have in your back pocket that you're like, give me this role. I will nail this so hard.
I don't know. I can't say it because it happened.
Oh.
I can't say it because it happened.
Did it happen and you are under NDA about it, or okay?
Yes.
So
I'm under
we
NDA.
will find out.
Yeah. I was supposed to be able to announce it this year, but it got delayed till next year. So
understood. So you have been able to do it at some indeterminate point in time, and we will find out what it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully next time we get to chat.
Yeah. You'll know. I mean, they're so different. I really like cartoons. I've gotten to do very few cartoons, and I really like it because there's just so much freedom. I got to do, apart from Lego Monkey Kid, to pick up where Billy left off, I got to do Wee Baby Bears, which was really cool.
Yeah, the Wee, well, just all the Wee Bears shows in general.
No, there is a spin-off show called Wee Baby Bears.
Right. I'm saying the whole thing as a collective is just one of my favorite shows.
I got to voice some Spanish alligator pinatas. I got to voice.
That's specific.
Yes. I got to voice some other pinatas, and I got to voice a clone of Riz and Panda, which was really cool. And I was like, man, how do I do more of this? I want to do more cartoons. But I mean, anime is very technical, right? And it's always funny. I've worked with a lot of new actors and directors recently, and they're like, man, I'm trying to get like you when I grow up. And I was like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, because normally you're supposed to watch, you watch a preview of the anime, and then you come in after 3 beeps. And I've been doing it for so long that I don't watch the preview. I just go for it. And they're like, how'd you do that? And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you didn't see it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, we just do it. And then if I messed up, then we do it again and we do it better. But, just do it. And I'm like, okay. Because it matched the flaps perfectly. I don't know how you did that. You just do it for a while and then you just pick up the skill. Like, damn. So, but that's always funny. They're like, I'm trying to get like you. And I was like, I guess. I've been doing this for almost 8 years. So, but it's very technical. And even then, there are some flaps that are just tricky because, depending on how they animate it. And, I think the randomest, funnest thing I've had to do was doing promo, which is just next Saturday at 5 o'clock. I got to do it for the Patrick Star Show, and it was the randomest thing. And it was next time on the Patrick Star Show, and I got to do it in both English and in Spanish. So
adios mio.
Yeah, it was really fun. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I gotta say video games for nostalgia reasons because I've gotten to do so many different mediums. I've gotten to do Pokemon. I've literally gotten to do most of my childhood at this point. I've been in Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been in Pokemon. I've been in Digimon. I've been in Saint Seiya, Dragon Ball. I'm just check off the list. All I'm missing at this point, I'm Sonic. Yeah, that might be it. Mega Man. So I'm Sonic and Mega Man. Oh, and Star Wars. And then I'm I think that I've covered my entire childhood at that point.
That is absolutely phenomenal. God. No, just thinking about that, it's wow, there's only 3 things left, and they're totally doable, especially with Star Wars, expanding into all this extra content. It's just all right, the Star Wars machine's back on. Let's see, let's have it go.
Yeah.
So I wanted to next talk about zeroing in on some of your voiceover roles as we start to tick away into the final minutes of our time together.
Yeah.
We've talked about the different things you like about the craft of voiceover. Are there any particular favorites for voiceover that you have worked on that you just really love to shout about, that you're so grateful for doing? And if there's anything that's NDA, you can just say, worked on it in the future. You can feel free to popcorn if you have to.
There is one that is NDA, but I'll be able to probably talk about it within, what time is it?
I want to say it's probably close to 3 o'clock.
Within 24 hours.
Hey! And possible Animate Columbus exclusive, y'all.
I can't say what it is, but it depends when I leave. But maybe at the end of near the end of the con, I'll be like, "Hey, I'm in this thing."
It's oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Just run.
Yeah. No, it's 100% going to be that. But other than that, Pokemon, being able to finish Ash's journey, I think that's insane because I literally have a picture of me dressed up as Ash Ketchum when I was 3. So, and it's just me
super wholesome.
Yeah. And I'm going to post it on Twitter when the episode's come out on Netflix. But other than that, there's a show. It's I really liked working on a show called Link Click. It's really cool. It's about time travel, and one can see in the photos, the other one dives into and possesses the person who took the photo. It's this whole thing. And then the other one is it's a comedy, and the reason it's one of my favorites is because I worked literally with my best friend and some other best friends. It's called Sleepy Princess and the Demon Castle, and we just got to reference so much crap.
Yes.
We literally added SpongeBob references, Metal Gear references. We just got to add, he'd be like, hey, what do you call your dog? What do you tell your dog when he's doing something bad? And I'd go, buddy, leave it? And he's like, yeah, we're adding that in the show. He's like, hey, we got like a dog. I think we're going to call him Big Big. And I was like, yeah? And he's like, yeah, it just seems appropriate. Hey, Big Big, what's good? It's just, and it's just so funny. It's a really wholesome show. I highly recommend. It's my favorite joke that I hated that he made me say, and now it's one of my favorites. It's, well, water in a well. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, but I love it.
I mean, sometimes that is the best kind of humor, where it's just like, this is so dumb, this is amazing.
Yeah. And I voice the Demon King in that show. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. So in our last few minutes together, we've talked about this entire cavalcade of characters that has inhabited your journey, inhabited your life. Who have been some of your favorite people to collaborate with, whether it is on the YouTube platform, Twitch platform, as a VTuber, as an actor? Who are some of your favorites, and what about those collaborations?
Man, I hate Amelie. My God, what a bore. No, I'm just kidding. I love Amanda.
Casual reminder, we will be doing the second of the two spotlights that I have this weekend with Amelie tomorrow, I believe at 3 p.m. right here on this very stage.
Yeah. No, I love Amma. We've literally known each other for so long. But we didn't because when I started, we were both in a project together that never came to be, but that's how we knew each other.
Really?
And then, it was some visual novel when I was first starting out, and it's some indie game. And then eventually we were both in Texas. It's like, oh, hey. And then eventually it's slowly but surely. But the VTuber thing, I think, has definitely brought us closer than anything. But it's just really funny how we both decided to make VTubers around the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
It was just pure coincidence.
Yeah, and they look very similar too. So we have very sibling energy.
Yeah.
And it shows. We have a whole gag. We have a whole gag where it's Sayu tech support because she just.
I was going to bring that up just as you mentioned.
we have a print because it was her idea for the print, and it's two sides, and it's Monarch yelling at me, and then I'm yelling back, and people can ask us to write whatever we want on it.
Oh, no.
But it came to be because she needed help, and I was like, yeah, let me help you out. Because during her debut or something, I can't even remember, and then I was like, oh, yeah, you do this. And she'd always call me up and be like, bro, this is just tech support at this point. And then people picked up, and they're like, that's not you tech support. The funniest gag is probably when I was literally on a plane, and everybody thinks this is a lie. I have text messages. I swear to God.
He's got receipts.
I'm on a plane about to leave. I'm on the runway, and Amanda hits me up. It's like, hey, real quick, I need help. And I'm like, I'm about to take off, bro. You gotta tell me what's up. And she's like, my audio settings aren't working. And I'm like, did you check OBS? It's like, yes, they're not working. Check your advanced audio settings. Where do I go? I'm like, your audio settings. I've taught you this. I've told you this 5 times. Please, the volume mixer, advanced sound settings. Look through your layers. You gotta go XLR, and we made it complicated for this reason. And she's like, but I can't hear anything. I'm like, why do you have a 2-PC setup if you don't know what you're doing? And it just became this whole gag. And it's like, did you fix it? No. And I'm like, I'm about to take off. Audio settings, OBS, go. Oh no. And I'm like, and then literally by the time she sends me the last text, I'm already in the air.
Well.
But that and Tia Ballard, voiceover-wise.
Oh, Tia. Oh, I haven't seen her in forever.
Yeah, I love Tia. She's a delight. She's very funny. And I have a sign. When I first moved from Texas to LA, she gave me this plaque that just says, "We both know you can do better." And it's a reference to a session we had where we were working on some show. I can't remember the name of it, but she was directing, and I was doing a fight effort, and I go, "Huh!" And she stops the audio. And it's really funny because it's her, Felicia, Angel, and Jesse, James Greeley behind, just like looking at me, and they go, Tia just goes, "We both know you can do better, bro." And I'm just like, damn, all right.
Rude.
Yeah, and I do it, and then she goes, "See, better." And Jesse from the side goes, "Why you holding out on us, bro?" But yeah, I have that in my office. It's pretty great.
Oh, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
This is getting roasted.
Yeah, it's great.
Straight up. Cool. So we still have about 3 minutes left. Would you be cool to take maybe a question or two from our audience? Okay, so there's not going to be enough room for everybody. Like maybe the first 2 or 3 who can make it to the mic. We see already 2 people.
We can speed run it. We can speed run it if you want.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how many we can take. We have about 2.5 minutes on the clock. I can maybe fudge a little bit after that.
Sure.
So lightning round for our guest Alejandro Saab. Let's effing go.
Hi. So I come to these things because of my daughter. She's been dragging me along.
Hello.
Anyway, I wanted to. This is a statement, not so much a question. She's a real big fan of yours, and thank you so much for being real honest about the college thing because she's a self-taught artist, and she went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. Sorry to call anything out like that. And they did the same thing you were talking about. She wanted to go to advance what she already knew by being the self-taught, right? And she had the first teacher said, "Anybody going to Disney or Pixar or whatever, you're sorry to spoil your dreams, you're not going." That was the very first day of college there. And then one teacher wanted them to do this one drawing, and he kept on saying, "Deeper, it has to be darker and darker and darker." She about took a Sharpie marker to it, and he still, no matter what she did, gave her a low C on it. And she was like, "Mom, come pick me up, I'm done."
Yeah.
So, but thank you for saying that because that just shows her that there's still, a hope out there.
100%,
that what she's intentions are still there. But thank you so much for being honest.
Of course. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And I'm sorry that happened to you. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
So I know you've done some work for Shallot for Dragon Ball Legends. What was your favorite voice line that you got to record of all of them that you got to record for Dragon Ball Legends?
"This is Super Saiyan 3.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, Gojo?
That's good.
Yeah, you can move it.
All right. I'm an aspiring voice actor, and I was just wondering if there were any tips or things from experience.
Did you not hear me? Drop out of college. No, I'm just kidding. That's a total joke. That's a total joke.
Giant asterisk on that one.
Honestly, and this is going to be silly, just get used to the sound of your own voice. And trust me, my voice, even just a few years ago, was nasally sounding. I was like this. So honestly, read out loud every day. Get used to the sound of your own voice. See if you like it. Because the thing is, some people are they love the idea because if they're like me, hyperfixation, and are like, "Oh, dude, this sounds cool," and then they get into it and they're like, "I don't really like it, but I'm gonna keep doing it because I don't know." So make sure you like it, and it's acting, not the focus is acting, not just the voice. Okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi.
So I don't know if you know, but the dad jokes panel is literally at the same time as yours.
I know.
Which I think is a little rude.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to this one, by the way.
So I was wondering if you have a favorite dad joke that's
a
not
mistake.
the sushi one.
Oh, man. But that was my favorite one. Man. Why should you knock on the refrigerator?
Why?
Because there might be a salad dressing. Thank you. It's terrible, I know. I've got a list. I've got 46 jokes in my phone.
I honestly will not doubt that.
No, I'm serious. It's a Google Doc.
Oh, God.
And that's not even the Instagram that I follow. Hi.
Hi. If Sino was in Honkai Star Rails, what path do you think he would be?
Hunt. 100% the Hunt.
Okay, I was saying erudition, but Hunt I can see.
Yeah, he would be Hunt. Tainari would be Nihility.
Oh, yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So someone already beat me to the, if you had a suggestion for people who want to be voice actors.
Sure.
I will add on to that. Do you have any suggestions for like what kind of classes you should look into?
Yes. Richard Horvitz is someone I highly recommend. He does online classes. Mick Wingert is another one. He's the voice match for Jack Black and Robert Downey Jr. Both fantastic actors. Both are prolific in their field. What I do recommend, if you do look up classes, and they're an actor, I would recommend that you look up their resume and see that they are currently working and are actively working, because then they'll tell you they'll help you know what is the thing that is currently booking. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
For sure.
Hi there, I got two things.
Hi.
One, can you make a funny joke with Sino's voice? And
Can it be the sushi one?
Yes.
Okay.
And the second one, can you do the Zarbon? Zarbon one?
I'm not doing the Zarbon.
Oh, come on. All right.
Sorry. I'm not doing a moan for the internet, bud. I'm not doing that.
Come on.
Sorry, buddy.
That's worth a
I'll
shot.
leave that to Devil Artemis.
Worth a shot.
What did the sushi say to the bee? Don't say it.
What?
Wasabi. I looked at you. You know who you are. Hi.
Hi. This is keeping with the thing of dad jokes.
Yeah.
How did the directors figure out that Sino should be telling these dad jokes?
That wasn't my idea. That was not my idea. That was just a character thing they wanted, which is really interesting. I think it's because they wanted. It's like, this is his work mode, this is his off work mode. But the reason he tells it is because he knows no matter how bad they are, it lightens the mood. Even if it's like they're not laughing, eventually they laugh at him. And he's like, doesn't matter, they're laughing. And it makes them happy. So that's what matters.
I mean, I laugh at most of them, so that's
They're pretty
one
great.
point. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
With going to the VTubing side of things, I've been debating about being a VTuber myself, but more doing like the IRL stuff, but more specifically like doing Magic the Gathering on Shard, tabletop, that sort of stuff. But the problem is I don't know if that'd be meshing well with the whole point of VTubing. Do you have any advice for anything like that?
It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're doing VTubing for fun. If you're doing Magic, if you're doing whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can have a hand cam, just put on some gloves. Yeah, but the thing is, there's a market for everybody. So I don't think you should, not do something because it's like, it might not be good. You never know. There might be an audience for it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and our final question coming on up.
Hi.
Don't
mess this up.
Out of all the Genshin Impact characters other than Sino, who is your favorite and why?
Arataki numero uno Ito. And it is 100% because of Max Middleman. He's great. Yeah.
Okay,
All right. And on that note, with that awesome pop, give it up once again for Alejandro Saab, a.k.a. Kagi Films.